I'm always fascinated by creative souls. You know, I think that there's something very special about creative people. And I guess Alan Gannett does too, because he's the founder and CEO of TrackMaven, a software analytics firm whose clients have included Microsoft, Marriott, Saks, Fifth Avenue, Home Depot, Aetna, Honda, and on and on. He's also been on the 30 under 30 list for both Inc. and Forbes. And his new book is out. It's called The Creative Curve. And Alan had the opportunity to look at some of the most creative people that we know in our culture right now to find out what makes them tick. And it includes interviews with so many. And Alan, welcome. Congratulations on this book.
Thanks for having me.
So, how many people did you interview for this book?
So I interviewed 25 people, and it was everyone from, Pasek and Paul, the songwriting duo behind Dear Evan Hansen, La La Land, and The Greatest Showman, to Michelin star chefs, billionaires, and sort of everything you can imagine in between.
Wow. What was there a thread that every single one of them had? And by the way, don't forget the flavor team at Ben & Jerry's.
Who are all surprisingly skinny. That's kind of shocking. So one of the threads that I thought was so interesting was that we think of creativity in this way where it's almost inaccessible. But the things that these people do to be extraordinary is really they're ordinary people who do something extra. And so my book is all about that extra. What is it that they do? And there's a couple key themes I found. One of them that I saw over and over again, creatives are also some of the biggest consumers of their field. We think about consumption as almost the antithesis of creativity, right? Consumers consume, creators create. But actually, these really great creatives, one of the things they do is they go very deep in their vertical, consume everything.
Oh, I lost you. Did we lose him? Or is it just my feed? He's not talking, though, right? Alan, are you there? Oh, we have to get him back. Hopefully we can get Alan back. He was saying consumption. So he explores how the science behind the why consumption of information can provide your own flashes of genius. And then imitation. This is an interesting one. I wish you were with us to talk a little bit about this. But imitation. Creatives have to find a way to add just the perfect amount of novelty. To do this, they engage in something that may seem surprising imitation. He said they also have creative communities. And Alan shows how building a community... Oh, Alan, I was just reading some of the different initiatives, that the threads of imitation and I was just at creative communities.
Yeah, and so one of the things that's so interesting is that, you think of creatives as these solo geniuses, but actually the best creatives work within communities. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, he had multiple employees from day one. And so we have this idea as creatives as doing it all themselves, but I think it's very dangerous because the best creatives, they're self-aware about their weaknesses, and they go and they find other people who can support those and better.
So, Alan, you say in this new book of yours that these are, so there's a sense of community, there's an opportunity to see what's been successful from others by imitation. They're ferocious. They are ferocious with their consumption. What's the last piece that they all
they're
have
iterative.
in common?
That they don't. The thing that's so interesting is they're not going to a writer's cabin and writing the book. You hear stories like that, but the vast majority of creatives go through this laborious process. If it's a book, if it's rewriting, if it's a song, it's constantly refining and refining. It's chefs who work on menus, stand-up comedians who work out their jokes for months and months. So we have this idea as creativity is very linear, but in reality, creativity is anything but. And the best creativity comes from that refinement and from that editing of getting it to be that right idea at the right time for the audience by getting it in front of people, getting that feedback, not creating within a vacuum.